reaction to allergens or sometimes to cold air. So the trigger for the asthmatic attack differs with people. But what we recommend is that you should try to identify the triggers for the allergic reaction. For some people, it might be pollen in the air. For others, it might be pet hair, and so on. So where possible, do try to avoid the triggers as your body resolves the problem. And the products we recommend for this will be herbal respiratory complex. We recommend omega-3 salmon oil to help to resolve the inflammation. We recommend flavonoid complex. And if you do not get adequate sun exposure, we'd also recommend that you supplement with vitamin A plus D. So those are the supplements that you can use for asthma. But as I've said, it is important to try as far as possible to avoid whatever is triggering the attack. Another frequent question: ovarian cysts, and in by painful menses. So sometimes the cysts themselves can contribute to the painful menses because of if they're a certain size, they may lead to abdominal pain. And also they may interfere with the hormonal balance and so on. So just to explain, cysts are fluid-filled swellings that can occur on the ovaries, and it can cause loss of menses, irregular menses, or painful menses, as I mentioned. They are often linked to diabetes or pre-diabetes, or they can also be hereditary. So if you are a sufferer from ovarian cysts, one thing to check is your sugar metabolism. They can, and if you have a family history of diabetes, you can already try to take measures in terms of your lifestyle and diet, just in case it is the one that is. When a person with polycystic ovarian by lifestyle points such as from your diet, replace factory fats and oils from your diet, as well as hormone disruptors from your environment, hormones, and exacerbate the problem. So and also, if you're a smoker, eliminate smoking and opt for good proteins from your diet, as well as plenty of vegetables. So here So herbal feminine complex, to balance hormones. Then we also recommend as a result of the tendency to be linked with sugar issues, we recommend botanical balance. Maybe you can check if things are okay with your sugar metabolism. If everything is okay, then maybe you can leave out the botanical balance, unless you have a familial history of diabetes, because remember, you can be having the initial stages of diabetes, which may not show up in the test. We also recommend omega-3 salmon oil to fight inflammation that tends to accompany this. And if there is heavy menstrual bleeding, we also recommend multimineral alfalfa to replenish you with minerals. Okay, next question was heart failure. You'll remember in our session about cardiovascular health, we said heart failure means that the heart is not working as efficiently as it should. Doesn't mean that the heart is no longer working. It means that it's not working as well as it should. And so there might be circulation problem and so on. So the first recommendation is to check the underlying cause for why the heart is not efficient. And then it's also important to be under medical supervision. In case there is a change for the worse, your doctor should be aware that this is going on. We recommend lifestyle points such as a healthy diet with the usual plenty of vegetables, cooked vegetables. If your system does not handle vegetable very well, they are easier for people who are sensitive. Cooked vegetables are easier to digest than raw ones. So instead of salads, opt for cooked veggies or steamed veggies. Then we also recommend fruits, maybe not the very sweet fruits that we tend to have nowadays. And then also healthy proteins and healthy fats. Include some gentle exercise in your daily routine, very important because the way to exercise our heart muscles and strengthen them is by aerobic exercise, which means maybe mix your walking. Maybe you can walk rapidly sometimes and then slow down to a slower pace and then increase the pace and so on, just to keep your heart rate going up and down, and that way exercising your heart muscles. There are supplements that will help with heart efficiency. Coenzyme Q10 is one of them, together with omega-3 salmon oil, magnesium complex, and vitamin A plus D. As always, if you get good sun exposure, this will give you all the vitamin A plus D you need. So as we are here in Africa, where most of the places we are in, I think you get plenty of sunshine. When I say vitamin A plus D, I'm referring to those who are not getting enough sun exposure. Next question, someone wanted to know at what age menopause, the age of onset of menopause, and what are the signs? You can say from age of 40 to 50, depending on people, you can have the onset of menopause. The signs of menopause, the main one is a stoppage of menses. They may not stop all of a sudden. They can start reducing and becoming irregular before eventually they stop. That is why we've got a stage that is called perimenopause, which is the stage just before and just after menopause. So you may start seeing some signs, some changes in your cycle and in the flow of menses. This will tell you that if you're of that age, that this is going on. So the sign that is in common is the changes in the menses. Either they stop or they become irregular. And then with the rest of the signs, they vary very much from woman to woman. There are some women who get hot flashes. That is the temperatures, their body temperature control work very well. So sometimes they get very hot and find it difficult to cool off fast, hot at night and sweaty. Some women get brain fog, that they get forgetful. Others get joint pain. There are a lot of different signs with this. So it will depend very much. Between 40 and 50, maybe the menstrual cycle will start slowing down. Also, just to note that in some cases, the menstrual flow may increase very much and then start slowing down after a few months and then stop altogether. So every woman is unique. So you need to look at once you reach around this age, just to see how your body is changing. It's always a good thing. So I find that for some women, herbal feminine complex is very helpful because remember, this is a preparation of herbs that support the female according to what is needed. We also recommend Calmag to safeguard bone density because for some women, especially women of Caucasian origin and Asian origin, may find that their bones get brittle with age. For most women of African origin, this is not really an issue, but of course, for some people, it can actually be an issue. So if at this age you start noticing you get pain in your teeth and maybe joint pain and so on, could be an alert for you to. And as always, we add vitamin A plus D because vitamin D is very good for improving our ability to absorb calcium. So next question was about diabetes. They did say which type it is. So do establish whether it is diabetes type 1 or type 2. They are slightly different in the way we approach them. Diabetes type 1, you need to be under the management of a doctor. So your doctor should know if you have diabetes type 1 because you may need to have insulin from time added to you from time to time. Then type 2 can be managed by lifestyle, diet, and supplements. So of course you can also use supplements in type 1 diabetes, but this does not mean that you should still not be under the care of your medical practitioner. So for type 2 diabetes, we recommend that you should do time restricted eating. Do work at the habit of giving your body a break from dealing with food, so you can see how you can arrange your meals so that you are not eating continuously, because continuous eating means that your insulin is keeping on going up and down. This may not be something, if you're in the habit of eating and snacking and so on, maybe you can start by restricting the number of snacks you have so that you eat mainly during meals. And then, of course, you need to eliminate sugar and refined carbohydrates, the usual culprit, factory fats, processed carbohydrates, junk food, all this should go. And then gentle exercise after meals is very good for boosting insulin sensitivity so that the cells are better able to react to insulin. So take a short walk after your meal, and it will also help you in feeling energetic and fulfilled by your meal. Then we've got excellent supplements to support you in this. Botanical Balance is a very excellent supplement for helping our bodies to deal better with sugar metabolism. We can also add there, this question was actually about a child, sorry. We also can add the Neolife Shake, which can be mixed with water, and then you can also add Vita Squares for this little one. Unfortunately, we are noticing that type 2 diabetes, it used to be that children only had type 1 diabetes, but unfortunately, in the recent years, we have noticed that type 2 diabetes is also becoming common in young children. Okay, then someone wanted to know how to gain the training material. The recommendation I have there is attend training, attend events, and when you have, you can have a reading schedule just to get yourself better informed. So this is really a matter of taking the time to learn more about our products, learn more about lifestyle illnesses and how to deal with them. Another question was about anal fistula, which is an issue to do with the anus, where there can be a cavity that is the result of some digestive gut issues. So it's often linked to irritable bowel disease or Crohn's disease, or also an injury to the anus can cause this tunneling in the area around the anus, which is of course very uncomfortable and can lead to a lot of infections. So first recommendation is to see your doctor to ensure that if there is no infection that has, you may need to be given medication for that if there is an infection still active there. Also, you can discuss with your doctor whether you need surgical intervention. So sometimes it may be necessary to surgically close the fistula. Next, the supplements that we'll recommend here in any case will be in to support your gut against this irritation and inflammation. We recommend vitamin C, we recommend chelated zinc, as well as stage 6 to help with the passing of stools easily, because it may be uncomfortable when you have these illnesses. We'll mention again Crohn's disease and irritable bowel syndrome in another question. Unfortunately, again, this is becoming more and more common. And I would say that if you notice that you are starting to have gut issues, you should be very proactive before it becomes very serious. Someone wanted to know about, so I just wanted to mention that if you see a Nutrans product that is let's say the moisturizer is called Ultra Moisturizer, it means it is for normal to dry skin. or if you see a cleansing gel would be for oily skin. So the ultra, when the product has ultra in it, it means that it is for normal to dry skin, meaning that it does not strip the skin, it enriches the skin and so on. But I recommend that when we have a session on nutrients, it could be a good place for us to go further into the nutrients products and how to use them. Another question was, again, two related one, ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease. So these are actually types of irritable bowel disease. So this is usually, it may be autoimmune, they may be autoimmune and might also be familial. And both of them, as I said, are manifestation of irritable bowels. Ulcerative colitis will happen in the colon, which is a large intestine, but Crohn's disease can occur in any part of your gut. So some of the things to note is to avoid painkillers, pain-killing medication that harm the gut. So these are ones that you buy over the counter, things like Brufen and so on. Be careful not to use this, get a better alternative, or better still, find out what is the root of the pain and deal with that rather than simply taking painkillers over a long period. If you have this irritable bowels, you need to stop smoking if you're a smoker. You can also try to identify which foods trigger issues, like which one make the abdominal pains worse, which one makes the diarrhea and the constipation and so on, because all these will be manifestation of an irritable bowel. The irritable bowel just is irritated by everything in that you do. Any food you take can actually be problematic, but some are worse than others. So just to keep an eye on what maybe you notice makes it worse and avoid that. Then if you have an irritable bowel, it might not be a good idea to eat high fiber food that is very fibrous, like let us say maize or popcorn, or just food that have got tough fiber to digest, beans and so on. Go rather opt for softer fibers like leafy vegetables and maybe some fruits that is not too fibrous, but you do need some amount of fiber to support the gut microbiome, because a lot of the autoimmune illnesses are actually linked to poor health in your the microbes that are supposed to be in your gut, that are supposed to help to keep your gut healthy. So those microbes require fiber. That is actually why we eat fiber for them. It's their food. But once your gut has got these issues, it can really not deal with very rough fiber. So rather either supplement with fiber tablets or choose your dietary fiber carefully. Also, unresolved stress can worsen this irritable bowel. So try to see how to resolve your stressors. Where possible, eliminate or manage if elimination is not possible. From New Life, we recommend chelated zinc to help with the healing of your gut. We recommend omega-3 salmon oil to help resolve the inflammation and irritability. Vitamin B complex would also be a good addition, because the ability to absorb nutrients when you have got this irritable bowel usually is a bit impaired. So you may need to take a general multivitamin like Formula 4 possibly, but remember you need to add the chelated zinc, omega-3 salmon oil, and vitamin B complex. You can add fiber tablets or multi-fiber blend if you have it in your market. And this is to give you fiber, soluble fiber that is easy to digest in your gut. And thereby try to rebuild your gut health. Because all this is that you can rebuild your gut health so that your gut is not reacting to everything you eat. There are a number of questions next that I will put as one, because the supplements we recommend for them are the same. So there was a question about Parkinson's, there was a question about Alzheimer's, and there were other questions about memory loss. So here, these are all where we have cognitive impairment, that is your mental abilities start getting impaired, maybe to a small or a larger extent. But here the first thing we'll say is that there has been links that have been found between these mental impairments with type 2 diabetes. So it is important that you be aware of that. And so to be on the cautious side, eliminate or drastically reduce refined carbohydrates and junk food. Opt for healthy fats and add fish to your diet. Add cooked vegetables to every meal, and also have a walk after meals to help with those issues. The supplements that we'll recommend to support your mental acuity will be Mind Enhancement Formula. We'll recommend Pro Vitality, and we also recommend fiber tablets. So again, in some cases now, Alzheimer's is being described as type 3 diabetes because of the close link between Alzheimer's and poor sugar metabolism. So just to be aware of this, that we are doing ourselves no favors when we are eating these unhealthy foods. The problems they cause manifest in so many different ways. Next, someone wanted to know what to recommend for athletes. We usually have a topic for sports nutrition, but I'll mention here that generally we recommend sports performance protein if you have it in your market. If you don't, then you would use Neolife Shake as a protein supplement for athletes. We recommend Pro Vitality, multimineral alfalfa, vitamin B complex, and zinc. Zinc helps with the healing of any injuries that sports people do tend to accumulate injuries in the course of practice or in the course of competition. So those are the recommendations. So Neolife Shake or Sport Performance Protein, Pro Vitality, multimineral alfalfa, B complex, and chelated zinc. Another question was about a hernia. A hernia is an area of the abdomen where the tissues have become a bit weak and can easily tear. And you will notice a protrusion of the abdominal organs coming out, popping out. So there can be hernias on the belly, there can be hernia in different places, including the groin and so on. Now, this is just the first thing to say here is my recommendation for a hernia is to see your doctor. A lot of time it is better to have a surgical intervention unless it is very, very early, but in most cases, by the time you notice the tearing has already taken place and the organs are protruding. So the best thing to do here is to determine whether you need surgical intervention. Even as you're planning the surgical intervention, you can still supplement with flavonoid complex, vitamin A plus D, and chelated zinc. But with the hernia, I would say that be seen, do not postpone in the hope that it will go away. A lot of time it does not, because by the time you are noticing it, it has already progressed. Right, next was what general supplements for gut health. So lifestyle for gut health, I think with so ensure that we include soluble fiber in your diet through leafy greens and fruits and all the other such like wholesome foods. Then minimize refined and junk food, and then opt for healthy fats. Then for your general gut health, regularly use chelated zinc, Pro Vitality, and fiber tablets. Then another group of questions that I put together because they're related. Someone wanted to know about ulcers. Another wanted to know about H. pylori or peptic ulcer disease. So all these are related to ulcers in the gut. So the first thing to say is H takes advantage of an unhealthy gut and starts the places where the gut is a bit thin and and inflamed, there is where H. pylori, the microbe, is actually going to attack. And this means that if you are noticing some issues that are like ulcers in your gut, the best thing is to start with antibiotics to get rid of H. pylori. But as we know, antibiotics do tend to interfere with all the microbes, good and bad, in your gut. So after that, you may need to start rebuilding your gut microbes by your dietary steps. Another culprit about this type of ulcers issues, gut ulcers, will be avoid taking those types of over-the-counter painkillers that I mentioned that tend to harm the gut lining. Definitely do not take any painkiller in an empty stomach unless your doctor says so. Before, when you need to take painkillers, make sure that there's some food in your gut because these tend to protect the gut a little bit. Some people find raw cabbage juice to help if they've got a lot of pain and discomfort to do with these peptic ulcers. So you can juice up a cabbage, raw cabbage, and this juice is sometimes found to be helpful. By the way, cabbage is one of those vegetables that people look down on, but are extremely good for our gut health. Just for your information. Then the supplements that we recommend to help you with peptic ulcers, H. pylori, and all this will be chelated zinc, very good for healing the lining of the gut. We recommend garlic allium complex, which is going to help even as you take the antibiotics, you'll continue to take it so that it keeps the population of these unfriendly bugs down. Then we also recommend flavonoid complex to help with the healing process. And aloe vera plus can help with soothing the gut when it is irritated. Another question that I grouped together was one about adenoids and another about sinusitis. So this is an inflammation of the adenoids. Adenoids are little organs that are sort of in the same family of organs as tonsils and so on. They are located in there behind our throats, and our sinuses are located in the front of our faces, around our nose, but on the inside. So they try this. The first thing we'll say is try to identify and eliminate triggers or whatever might be driving these reactions of your sinuses, your adenoids, and your tonsils. If it is due to infection, then of course you need to go for antibiotics. A lot of times when I get this question is usually someone who has got an ongoing problem that is recurring and is not responding to the treatment they are getting. So in one case, it was for a small child, a toddler. Here we recommend omega-3 salmon oil to help reduce the inflammation. Of course, because it's a small child, you may opt for omega-3 minis, which are easier to swallow. We also recommend VitaGuard and chewable C. Then for adults, there's another question in this case, allergic sinusitis for an adult. We recommend omega-3 salmon oil, flavonoid complex, and herbal respiratory complex. If you decide to give the toddler herbal respiratory complex, it's okay, but you give them half of the tablet instead of the full tablet because of their body weight, still very small. Nerve issues. So here, the first thing is to see the doctor so that you get a diagnosis as to what is behind the nerve issues, and you may need the doctor to help with managing the pain. So they recommend for you a system of painkillers that can help. Nerve issues, as I think I've mentioned previously, are often linked to damage due to diabetes or due to strokes and other things of that type. So here the supplements we recommend will be vitamin B complex. We recommend either vitamin E or wheat germ oil, so not both, one of the two. And we also recommend Calmag. So those three to help with the nerve issues. But of course, do try to get to the underlying cause of the nerve issues. Here I'm being quite general because the question was not very specific. Another question, which was not very specific, was what to recommend for earache. Again, if you have an earache, the first recommendation is to see your doctor to find out why your ear is aching. It could be an infection, it could be an injury, or it could be an allergic reaction that is causing inflammation in your throat that is spreading up to your nose, because they're actually closely linked at the back. So in addition to that, you'll use your herbal respiratory complex. We recommend omega-3 salmon oil and flavonoid complex, especially if the cause is allergy that is causing inflammation. If the cause is infection, then of course you need to be on antibiotics. If it is an injury, you need to be in the care of a specialist to find out if the injury can be corrected. So, for example, if there's an injury on the eardrum or something like that. So, again, a question where I just give a general recommendation because you need to get to the root of the issue. Another question was for chronic kidney disease, that is in someone who has type 2 diabetes. Again, again, I probably have mentioned this before. A lot of kidney disease chronic kidney diseases that we are seeing now are linked to damage of the kidney by the effects of type 2 diabetes. So in many cases, the people who are undergoing dialysis were already people who are suffering with type 2 diabetes, which led to the damage of their kidney. Yet again, to just reiterate the point of let us resolve the diabetes, which is a serious issue that has so many serious side effects and life-ruining effects. So, as always, eliminate sugar and refined carbohydrates, opt for healthy fats, and a good diet that supports a good sugar metabolism and eliminates those things that we link to type 2 diabetes. Walk after your meals. Insulin sensitivity in your cells. We recommend the use of threonine. We recommend the use of botanical balance. This is to get to the root of the problem, which is the type 2 diabetes. Remember, if you have type 2 diabetes, a good idea to deal with its side effects, whereas you are leaving the diabetes to keep on wrecking other organ systems in your body. Deal at the same time with the diabetes by your lifestyle and by the supplement botanical balance and threonine. And then also you add their vitamin B and beta GAD. These two are because chronic kidney disease is often linked with low vitamin B. I think one of the effects is that you don't absorb vitamin B very well. So B complex and beta GAD just to support your kidney in detoxing. I see that I'm running into Pascal's time, so I'll go with one last question, I think. So, what is the best time to swallow omega-3 salmon oil? This is up to your preference. I myself prefer to take my omega-3 or my Pro-Vitality, which contains omega-3, with meals at the beginning of the stomach. I start having, when I'm burping, fish. So if you have that issue, then the quick way to deal with it is to take your omega-3 at the beginning of your meal so it mixes in with your food and you don't have that issue. But if you do not have this problem, then of course you like. Generally, it's good to take supplements together with meals as part of the meal. So they are digested in there together and absorbed together. Then someone wanted to know what to recommend for leukemia. Of course, I'm assuming you'll be in the care of a doctor. The option of bone marrow transplant, if that is a possibility for you, because it can have excellent, it's an excellent treatment for this type of cancer, at least. You can use phytodefense, as we recommend for all cancers. You add their omega-3 salmon oil. And if the person has got a poor diet, then New Life Shake to give them a good source of protein. So I think, again, we shall stop there, leaving the remainder of the question for our next session. But for now, thank you very much for having spent the time. As I've taken quite a bit of Pascal's time, let me wish you a quick all the best for the rest of the month, which is quickly drawing to an end. I hope that your goals are within sight and you're really heading for them at a rapid rate. Thank you very much. Good evening, and here's Pascal.
Thanks, Betty. That was quite. Every time I listen to question and answers, I get new information about the products and the different conditions that people are going through.